How do you do your paperwork for citizenship? Do you need the N400 or N600? Who signs the N426? When can they sign the N426? In episode 3 of my mini-series, I'm going to take you through the process of applying for your citizenship while in the military. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, TeamWillbob. I'm Staff Sergeant Robert Williams, a recruiter for the Washington Army National Guard. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you can get my videos in the future. All right, so what I'm going to talk to you about is the basic overview of the steps for the process, the ways you can file, which forms you will use, who signs them, how to get the signatures, and the timelines for those, what happens after you file. And then I'm going to take you through the steps of actually creating an account online, and then whom do I contact for help, and some other important notes that I have identified. Okay, those basic steps to getting your citizenship through the military. Step 1, join the military. Preferably the Army National Guard, but I'm a little biased, and I'm okay with that. The next, you got to do 1 day of paid service before you can get that N426 signed. So that means either going to your first drill weekend or you got to be in training for the active duty. Right now, unfortunately, they don't have it set up infrastructure-wise to be able to do this process in basic training. So if you're active duty, you got to wait a little while longer, but then it's still the same process. You'll do the paperwork, whichever forms that you specifically need. You'll get the signature on the N426, and you'll submit that paperwork to USCIS. Then they're going to have you do fingerprints. They're going to have you respond maybe a few times with further proof of service or other things as needed. Then you can do a citizenship test. And finally, your oath of citizenship. How do you file your paperwork? Well, there are 2 ways. You can either do it by mail, and I'll put that address in the video description, or you can file online. I highly recommend that you file online. You have a lot more control and you get a lot quicker response that way. What forms do you need? Okay. You can either use the N400 or N600. If you have a green card, you will use the N400. If you have joined the military and you're not a U.S. citizen, but you don't have a green card because you're either a U.S. national or a foreign national that's allowed to join, you will use the N600. Everybody uses the N426 because that's the military-specific form for USCIS. Who signs what forms? How do you get those signatures? And what's the timeline? Well, the N400 and the N600 are signed only by you. You might use somebody else to maybe put some specific dates down as anything is needed, but only you are the one to sign 400s and 600s. The N426 is the one that's signed by an officer in the military. Your first 06 or higher in your chain of command will be the one to do that. You can get a general to sign it, cool. But in general, just go up your chain of command. Talk to your recruiter, talk to your supervisor if you are no longer dealing with a recruiter, and they'll be able to get it to that person. As long as you go up the chain of command, eventually you will find an 06. I promise. Now, for a timeline for this, the 06 or higher has 30 days to sign that and get it back to you. What happens next? I'm going to assume that you are filing online for this, but check your account daily. Seriously, every working day, really. Because you might not actually get a notification in like an email or a phone call or in the mail that they need more info. You need to check that. One of the soldiers I've worked with actually found out that they needed to submit something because we were doing research for one of these videos and they looked at their account and it happened to be day 30. So thankfully they were able to do something right then and get that 30 days restarted. They will have you then do fingerprints. So usually that's going to be at the USCIS office. Then they're going to have some other things that they're going to ask you for. Depends on what you're doing, what they need, and everybody I've talked to has had to provide other proof of military service. So don't be surprised when you get that. but you'll be able to get that from your recruiter or your chain of command somehow. It should not be very hard. Do not pay USCIS for this. You are not required to have any of those fees that are normally associated with filing for citizenship. Yes, you will have to do a citizenship test and an English proficiency test. My understanding is they're not terribly hard. And then once you're done with that, you'll get to do your swearing in and your oath of citizenship, and you'll be an American citizen. America! Now, the timeline for this and how long this takes has been changing a bit because of backlogs due to COVID. 6 months ago or so, when we were first starting to look at this, we were told 9 months. The last person that we worked with was told 17 to 18 months for the whole process from submitting paperwork to actual oath of citizenship. But if you are about to deploy or are currently deployed, that will hopefully be sooner. And I'm still doing research on that to figure out that process and how long that actually normally takes. All right, now I'm going to take you through how to create your account. To create an account online, you're going to go to uscis.gov/military/military. And I will put that link down in the video description. Then you're going to click the drop-down menu and hit Create Account. When you sign up, you're going to have to use an email, and it's going to confirm to make sure you're not a bot, basically. To do that, you'll get an email and you'll follow the link. We'll give you a nice notice saying it is sent to your email, and you should get that pretty quickly. This is what the email looked like when I got it. You just click on that link. And when you follow that link, it'll bring you to a website. And with all government websites, you have this lovely acknowledgement that you have to do. So scroll all the way to the bottom and click agree. Then you're going to create a password. Make sure it's a strong password, but one that you're also going to actually remember. And I had it send me a text message when I created an account because that was just the quickest and easiest way to do it. But it's going to make sure that basically you're a real human. And then in that text message that sent, they send a verification code, put that in there, hit submit. Make sure you save this code just in case for later on, hit proceed. And then you're gonna have 5 security questions just in case you lose your password. So fill those out and then you scroll to the bottom and hit submit again. Account type. If you're doing this for yourself, click I am an applicant, etc. Or if you have your lawyer do this, they'll be the one clicking that button. Once you've gotten to this point, here you go. You're going to start with file a form online. And most people are going to be using the N400. Click that, hit start form. And then you're going to determine your eligibility. I'm going through every individual screen that you'll have to go to just to make sure that in case you get one that you didn't expect, I didn't make it so you were confused. Asking your parents are citizens. How old are you? If you're under 18, the process will be different, but we're assuming that you are 18 or older because you are now in the military. Right here, definitely put yes because you're a member of the U.S. Armed Forces. Yes, right now, as of the filming of this video, during designated period of conflict, you may apply. Cool. This is just the next screen. This is what it's going to tell you. Keep scrolling down. Then application for naturalization, N400. You're going to start this. You're going to complete it online. And you're going to say, I am applying because of the military. When I went through and did this, I hit the back button. So this part might look slightly different, but the one I've selected will be an option when you get to this page. So when assisting you, and then start filling out your information. Once you've filled out that information, this is the point in which you're going to upload your N426. So in this process, you need to have your N426 signed before you actually
fill out your N400 online. But if I were you, I would still do the paper N400 at the same time as the N426, just to make sure things go properly. You have your orders right then, upload it, or you can contact them and see what other information they're going to ask for. Since you are filing an N400, you will upload that green card. At this point, I couldn't go any further because I don't have any of these things because I am already a U.S. citizen. So you will go over the application, you'll make sure that everything was typed in correctly, everything looks right, and then you will sign it.
I hope that all made sense as to how you go through that process. I wanted to make sure that you had an example to be able to see what it was like so that when you go do it for yourself, it's a little bit easier. My whole hope is to make this process easier for all of you. All right, now that you've done all that, you've filed your application, what happens if you need help? Whom do I contact for help? So, the first person you should contact is your recruiter if you have not gone to training yet. If you've gone to training, you've come back already, contact your chain of command. Or JAG. JAG is full of lawyers, so they know how to do a lot of things. And they will gladly research for you if you need some help. You can also ask an immigration attorney if you have one of those. Or you can also ask somebody else who has experience in the process, like somebody else you might know who's gotten citizenship through the military. They're a great resource. Okay, lastly, important notes that I have identified that I would like to make sure you know. This is for if you're doing the paperwork yourself. You saw that question, either you or your attorney. If your attorney is doing it, stuff will look a little bit different, but they know what they're doing. Yes, we are in a period of conflict. As of September 11th, 2001, we have been continually in a period of conflict. Even though we don't have the huge numbers of troops in Afghanistan and Iraq right now, the government still says it's a period of conflict. If that changes, I will put that out. A lot of people will put that out. But as of right now, the answer is yes. So you do not have to wait that 1 year during peacetime. If anything is needed for your application, and I kind of mentioned this earlier in one of the points, you have 30 days to respond. If you don't respond within 30 days, you have to restart your application. That's why I said you need to check your status every day. USCIS is updating the process, so please be patient, but still be doing your due diligence so you can get yourself the citizenship that you rightfully deserve. Also, with them updating, the website might look slightly different than what it looks like when I did it. In fact, a couple things looked slightly different when I was going through with the coworker 2 weeks ago. If you do need to call, the military line is 877-247-4645. And if you are deployed or going to deploy, press 5. And that should be for expedited processing for deployment. They work 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. So that's the only time you can actually call and talk to a human being. The website you can use is uscis.gov or uscis.gov/military/military. I will put both that link and that phone number down in the video description. Your fingerprints will most likely be done at the USCIS facility. However, if they will allow you to go to your state's Joint Operations Center for the National Guard, or a recruiter might be able to do those fingerprints, that would be great. Whatever is easiest for you, ask them, but do what they tell you, because they might not be allowed to use the same system that we've got. But if somebody does let you go to a different location than the USCIS office, please let me know, because I want to use that information to help people. Because my whole job is to help people. That's why I do this. I got my degree in aerospace engineering. I'm a rocket scientist. I do this job because I love to help people. Please, help me help others. That is a lot of information. I hope you can use that. I hope it's going to be helpful to you, and I hope that you will be able to get your citizenship through your military service. Thanks for watching Team Willbob and learning about how to file your citizenship paperwork for service in the military. Please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button if you've not already done so. And if you have any questions, please give me a call, text, or send me a Facebook, a WhatsApp, or an Instagram message. Have a great day.